So yeah, as Nikki said, my name is Brittany. I work for an organisation called Advisor, and we do careers guidance for young people and adults across the South. And I personally work on the ASK provision, which is basically educating schools, teachers and parents about apprenticeships. So I'm just going to run through my presentation. If we can keep cameras and microphones off, that would be great. And then if you have any questions and stuff as we go through, you can put them in the chat box. There will be time at the end to ask questions, and we'll go through them. We'll go through as many as we can at the end. So I'll also be slowly admitting people as they come in as well. As parents and carers, obviously, you know, we know that you guys are keen to hear about all of the options that are available to your children, so that you can support them in their decision making. So what we're going to cover today is really important, because even if your child does already know what they want to do, then it's just about making sure that they've got every single bit of ammunition under their belt about knowing what the opportunities are, because plans can change over time. I think this last year has been testament to how the world can be sometimes. So that's basically it's just good to have all the information. Apprenticeships have also changed a lot since for the last few years. They've been around forever, but there's a hell of a lot of myths and stuff around them. So we're going to kind of go through and dispel a lot of those now. And obviously, as a country, we are going through these weird and wonderful times because of the coronavirus pandemic. But it's just about making sure that you guys know what's going on behind the scenes. The government is piling in a lot of money, particularly after the A levels and GCSE results scandal last year. There is a bit of a microscope on them at the moment, so that they are pumping money into giving incentives for employers to get on board with the apprenticeship schemes. I believe they were given £1,000 per apprentice, and they've upped that to an additional £2,000. So there's a real incentive for them too. So for the next 20 minutes of my presentation, of my bit, I'm going to go through the range of apprenticeship job roles available and just basically what they are, the different levels that you find, how you find an apprenticeship so that you can support your child in finding them, what you need to do to start searching and applying for them, where to find more information both for your child and also for you guys, for parents. And then like Nikki said, we've got Taya and her mum Gillian, who have kindly given up their time so that you can actually get a bit more of a perspective from what it's like to actually do it and be a parent of someone who has taken the plunge. So we'll hand over to them towards the end. So let's go through what are apprenticeships. So there's a lot of myths, like I said, about apprenticeships. People get a little bit confused. They've been around forever, but you know, there's a lot of misconceptions about them. So let's just tackle it head on. You earn a wage, so that's completely different to studying full time, and it can be a really good salary as well. I will provide examples of some salaries later on, with some real live opportunities that are happening that are available at the moment. They'll work for at least 30 hours a week. So if you think about your standard working week is roughly around 37, 38 hours a week. You know, 30 hours a week is a good chunk of time. And that will include paid time to complete the studying. The employer will invest their time and money in helping them to gain their qualification and the valuable new skills and experience. That they'll also be given real responsibilities because it is a real job. So they'll have to work as hard as anybody else in the company, because they are going to be considered to be a valuable cog in the machine of that business in the same way that all other employees are. They'll also be supported by a training provider, and they'll help them to achieve their qualification and make sure that they complete the apprenticeship. And the training provider will work with the employer to make sure that they're ready for their endpoint assessment. which is often referred to as an EPA, and that is basically just the final exam at the end. And it's just to make sure that they can do the job that they've been training for. And because it's a full-time real job, they'll also have a contract of employment, including holiday pay. Hopefully sick pay will come under that as well, just like any other member of staff of that company. And it's important to understand, though, that an apprenticeship, because it is a real job, that they will be working with other people, other adults, you know. They'll have colleagues, they'll be learning from their experiences and all of their expertise and everything. And it genuinely is a myth that it's just like an extended work experience, and that you end up just making the tea. That's absolutely not the case. I hope it's never been that, because that's terrible. But it absolutely is not that. I'm sure after speaking with Taya later, she will be testament to that she's not just making the tea for everybody. And an apprenticeship typically takes between 1 and 4 years to complete. That can be longer depending on the level. So I'll talk about degree apprenticeships a bit later on, and that will be a little bit longer. The total duration of it will depend on the delivery model that the employer selects. I'll talk about those again a little bit later. The level and the subject that the apprentice is studying. But as a minimum, all apprenticeships last for a minimum of 12 months. And like I said, it is important to remember that apprenticeships aren't necessarily the easy option. Again, that's not a bit of a misconception, probably stemming from the making the tea thing. It is juggling a full-time job and studying, and that may not be for everybody. But it is a fantastic opportunity nonetheless. So, like I said, they will earn a salary. Many people think that apprentices are low paid. Yes, that can be the case. But the national minimum wage for apprentices is currently sitting at £4.15 an hour. Now, that does sound quite low, obviously, you know, compared to the normal national minimum wage for full-time jobs. However, it is really, really important to highlight that that the training that's provided is free. You know, you're not having to pay for that. You're not walking away from university with £9,000 a year worth of debt under your belt before you've really grasped the big wide world. So that's representative of that, and it's also representative of the fact that a lot of people who do apprenticeships, that they've got no experience. They've got no experience of holding down a job, or if you apply for one later down the line as an adult, you may have no experience in that particular field. So you know that money is representative of that. However, the good news is that is the baseline. So that's the absolute minimum that an employer can pay. And the good news is that lots of employers do pay a lot more than that. And I'll show you examples later. Some apprenticeship schemes in the big organisations and smaller ones, if they're able to, and depending on the industry as well, obviously, they can have a starting salary of around £15,000 a year. And some of the London-based employers, obviously because of the location, they may offer more. It's important to remember that if your child does come across an opportunity, don't be put off by the pay if it's low. There's always room for progression. You know, everyone's got to start somewhere. It's no different to, you know, going into your first job. Sometimes, you know, you do start on a low salary, and then you obviously have to work your way up organically, like you would in a company. Another common myth is that once you've completed your apprenticeship, they'll just let you go, and they won't keep you on anymore. 90% of apprenticeships do result in the person staying. Again, it's important to remember the organisation is putting loads of time and money into that person, and so it would be daft for them to show you the door at the end. It's in their best interest to keep you on, and if people do choose to move away, it's because they want to. It's the same as having wanting to change job in any other capacity. There may be a more competitive salary. There may be better opportunities to progress. You know, all of those things that you're probably all familiar with. Lots of young people are understandably worried about social life. That's something that we obviously hear about a lot, and rightly so. And they worry that they won't get to have fun or meet other young people, and that isn't the case either. It does depend on the size of the company, but they may find themselves with other apprentices, other young people, or younger people in the business. And they can also join the apprenticeship networks, such as the Young Apprentice Ambassadors Program, and that'll be available on the Amazing Apprenticeships website that I will talk about later. And there'll be lots of other opportunities to meet other people. And also when they're training as well, they may attend college or a local training provider where they can meet other young people in the area. And another myth is that apprenticeships are only for people who don't go to full-time university. That's not true either. There are different levels of apprenticeships, and there's lots to suit everybody, and they do go all the way up to degree level. So you're still at uni, but part-time, you're working, you're still achieving that degree. But again, I'll go through that in a bit more detail shortly. Some people think that apprentices are the easy route. Like I said, it is that they are being dropped into that work environment straight away. They've got roles, they've got responsibilities, that they're learning and adapting to their new environment and stuff. So again, it is a healthy amount of hard work, plus working towards the end of the assessment. But one of the best things about apprenticeships is that they are everywhere. You're not necessarily limited to, particularly for university placements, you're not limited to the places where universities are. They are everywhere. So if the opportunity comes up to relocate, and that's something that you're able to do, then that's great. The company may suggest or offer some form of relocation or transfer to somewhere else. And there'll always be opportunities, hopefully, for them to move out and to maybe move into a house share with other apprentices that they meet along the way. All of that stuff as well. So the range of apprenticeships, some of those are coming on the screen now. This is the tiniest snapshot in the world of the types of opportunities that are available. Obviously, I can't go into every single one of them. There's hundreds and thousands of them. But the takeaway here is that people, again, there's this misconception that people can only do an apprenticeship if they want to do plumbing and engineering and those kind of hands-on trade roles. Oh, sorry, are we able to turn off microphones, please? Thank you. And yes, absolutely, that is still a tried and tested, fantastic, and probably most efficient way of getting into those construction trades. Absolutely, why wouldn't it be? They're hands-on roles, you need to learn on the job. You've got to get stuck in, and that's the best way to learn those jobs. But there are so many other opportunities in so many different areas, and things that are office-based, things that are to do with STEM, science, technology, engineering, and maths. These jobs that are coming thick and fast because of the changing world that we're living in. You'll see cybersecurity on there. There's things like creative and digital opportunities. Journalism is another interesting one. And this is really not exhaustive in the slightest. So it's just about going out there and having a look. Really is the ultimate takeaway there. So these are the types of businesses. These are the household names. Again, this isn't exhaustive. This is just however many we were able to fit on one slide. These are all household names. I'm sure you recognise probably all of them, if not most of them. And they offer apprenticeships. They may not be offering apprenticeships all the time. They may not be offering them right this second, but these are well-established businesses for apprenticeships just generally. And it can be a little bit tempting to think that if you see a brand or a company that you recognize, then that's the one that you need to go for because they're the best one. That's not true either. Around half of of the fantastic apprenticeship opportunities are with these massive multinational companies like those. And then the other half is with smaller local businesses as well. And some of the feedback actually that we do get from young people, you know, yes, the big companies are fantastic, and you know, yes, there's often some amazing opportunities for progression and moving around and that sort of stuff, just because they're bigger. But that's not to say that the other ones don't have those opportunities too. The bit of feedback that I got from one particular apprentice, they said that they felt like it was a bit more of a family environment, and the fact that they felt that there was a lot of time allocated to supporting them in a smaller business. Not to say that that's not going to be the case with the bigger one, but you know, just trying to big up the smaller ones as well. So it's also important to look inside the company. I don't want to teach anybody to suck eggs, but I'm sure you know a lot of people who are in this session work in departments that maybe people haven't heard of. You know, when you drive past some of these massive companies, particularly in industrial estates and those sorts of places where there's head offices, you do just kind of assume that they just do the one thing. That's not the case. You know, if maybe your young person, your child is looking for, I don't know, an accounting role or something to do with finance, don't just get them to focus on the finance companies. Every single company will have a finance department. Every single company will have HR. They may have a legal team. They'll have customer service. They'll have, you know, like the IT department. You know, all of these different things. That there was this little snapshot of all the different areas. You know, and the bigger the company, the more departments they're likely to have. You know, an example for Oxfordshire, you know, you can be a HR manager with Network Rail, or a leather manufacturer for BMW. So there are lots and lots of different roles. It's just about getting out there and having a look, really. So I touched on levels before. Oh, okay, is the slide okay? There we go. So there's 4 apprenticeship levels. There's intermediate, advanced, higher, and degree. Now, if you want to, you can start all the way down from the bottom and work your way up. That's perfectly acceptable, and a really good way of doing it, actually. Higher apprenticeships cover all levels from 4 through to 7. Actually, let's just backtrack a bit. Intermediate is around a GCSE level, is equivalent-ish to a GCSE level. Level 3 is equivalent to A level and what will be T level. So again, if you've got younger children, then T levels may be coming in. They're kind of the opposite of an apprenticeship in delivery model aspects. So it's predominantly studying with a work placement attached. And they are slowly being rolled out over the next 3 to 4 years. They started coming out in September last year. But unfortunately, I think coronavirus trumped the headlines at that point. And that they will be rolling out. So again, on the Amazing Apprenticeships website, there's lots of information on T levels. So again, if that's something that could be a bit more appropriate for your child, if that's available at the time, then go and have a look at that. So levels 4, 5, 6, and 7 are equivalent to a foundation degree and above. A degree apprenticeship contains a level 6 bachelor's or a level 7 master's degree. So again, this is not Mickey Mouse qualifications. This is degree and master's level stuff. So again, this misconception is it just needs to be stamped out, doesn't it? Really. The level of apprenticeship that you start at will depend on the kind of job that you're applying for. Some businesses like to start people off nice and low down. And it's all about just looking at the entry requirements. It's important, again, same with the salary. It's important to not get bogged down or blindsided by the levels. If you get to A level age and you're ready to finish your A levels, don't just automatically think that the only thing that you can go for then is a level 4 or above. Sometimes you've got to sidestep. Sometimes you've got to go further down. Sometimes you've got to start from the beginning. It just depends on if that opportunity is a bit of you, and if you want to do it, and if that's going to get you where you need to be, then sometimes you just got to start at the bottom. So again, it's about keeping an open mind, and making sure that they're open to all of the possibilities. So delivery models. Now, as I'm sure you understand, this has kind of been a little bit weird over the last year. I'm sure Taya may have some experience of how she's dealt with doing an apprenticeship during this funny old time. But generally speaking, there's all of these different delivery models are open to apprentices, through different opportunities. Workplace learning is where a tutor will come in and teach them at work. The management will allocate a room for them to go into. Classroom learning, or attending college or a training provider, that'll be local to the company, and that again could be a really great opportunity to socialise as well with other apprentices in the area. Online learning is picking up massively. I'm sure a lot of people in their jobs now have experienced some form of online learning over the years for their role. I know I have. I've done things like health and safety and safeguarding and GDPR. That's the really exciting one, isn't it? And no one sits down with you and goes through it, do they? They go, hey, do you want to just tap into that and then watch the video and then answer the questions. So there's a little bit of that as well, and I think that's a really nice springboard for people, for young people, to understand that that's part and parcel of work as well, isn't it? So that's a nice little rehearsal, if you like, of doing those sorts of things as well. An example of a local opportunity and what they do, apprentices that work for Eben Dax Limited, which is an accounts assistant company in Abingdon. They'll learn by attending Abingdon and Whitney College. And that's both on campus and online. Obviously the on campus bit might be different at the moment, but generally speaking, that's what they do. And if you've got any worries about that, you can always Google a training provider. It will be listed in the advert, and you can check them out and see if they've got a good rating, in exactly the same way that you would with Ofsted and all of that sort of stuff. So higher and degree level apprenticeships. These are a real alternative to going to university. It's not separate. There was a little bit of confusion once before, where somebody thought that you did the apprenticeship and also went to uni. It doesn't work like that. It's the whole kit and caboodle is all in one. So the education part of your degree, of your apprenticeship, is the uni bit, and they basically offer all of the benefits of going to university and getting that higher level education, but with none of the cost. It's all paid for by the government and the employer. They're not going to be carrying £9 grand a year of debt around their necks forever, potentially. And so that's a real benefit to doing this. And also it gives that competitive advantage of having the work experience as well, because students on degree apprenticeships, they will have that mix, won't they? They'll have the 3 years at least work experience, and then when they're then going out into the job market, because there's obviously a massive influx of young people doing university, because it's never been more popular. Your child who's got the apprenticeship under their belt may actually get the opportunity over somebody else who doesn't have that work experience. So that's you just become a very well balanced potential candidate for a job. So again, this is the vital one, isn't it, for a lot of young people, is about the access to stuff. So the student union, the sports facilities, the clubs, the societies, and the NUS discount card, that is all included. So that's a real selling point. And obviously, like I said, university was always deemed to be the best and sometimes only way to get up to that higher level, but that's just not the case. Employers really find apprenticeships a really attractive way of getting there. And you can also apply to university and do any apprenticeships, full stop, at any age. So this isn't just something that you can do when you fall out of school or college or anything like that. this is any age. So any of you actually as parents, you know, if you want to retrain and do something else and you can afford to do so, then yeah, go and have a look at an apprenticeship. They are available for everybody. And it's also important to note that they can also be applied for. The degree apprenticeships can also be applied for as well as the UCAS. So they've got the five UCAS university choices, and then they can just fill their boots with as many apprenticeship opportunities as well. And then when that summer grade time comes around, hopefully they'll have a lot more opportunities under their belt. So let's have a look at vacancies. So before this, before I came on, I put in just Oxford as a base, because obviously I don't have a postcode necessarily. And so within 5 miles of just Oxford, there's 18 vacancies, and that goes all the way up to 87 for 20 miles. Now that doesn't sound like loads, but I promise you, as this pandemic has been kind of coming towards the end, hopefully, those numbers have been going up. Oh, sorry, press the mouse there. Those opportunities have been going up quite significantly over time. So employers are definitely getting back on their feet. They've obviously had the priority of looking after their existing staff this year, but this is definitely improving over time. And it's just about thinking about can they get there? Same as any other opportunity. Can, you know, look further afield, but just make sure that obviously travel and stuff is all doable. So let's have a look at some examples. I've got a mix there of different levels and different closing dates that are this year and different salaries. So there's some really, really fantastic opportunities. Dental nursing, weirdly, is incredibly popular at the moment across the whole of the South. I'm not sure why, but it is. And yeah, you can see that the vast range of different company types. You know, Toyota is obviously a massive one. I think Stantec is also a big one. But then you've got some ones that I don't recognise, so they must be local to you guys. I think it's also important to remember that the closing dates are really important to keep an eye on. Apprenticeships are offered all year round, so that they're not the same as the timeframes aren't the same as education. So you're not necessarily waiting for September to come around and then suddenly all of them appear. They do it sporadically throughout the year. And so that's why it's really important to keep an eye on things as they come up. And also with closing dates, employers are known to withdraw the advert if they get a massive influx of interest. So again, if your child does see it an opportunity, get on it, get on it straight away, because that opportunity might disappear if they hang on too long. So how do you actually find one? There's the Find an Apprenticeship website. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you, because that's probably the easiest way. So this is the Find an Apprenticeship website. And you can type in your postcode here. You can choose however many miles you want. If there's a particular sector, industry, employer that you're looking for, and then the levels as well are also really, really important. Keep it all levels to start off with, I think, because then they'll give you all of the opportunities available. And also, if you've got any disability concerns, if your child's got any disabilities or medical conditions and stuff that you're like super worried about, you can click the disability confident box, and then that will obviously only show you those ones. So if we just press search, so here, this is what it will look like. Let's pick this one. I can't remember what level this one is. So you'll see the wage, 16.5 grand, not bad for your first job. The hours, how long it will be, the possible start date. So again, that's quite a way off, isn't it, from now? And the level, and then it will just talk you through the similar sort of things that you look for in a job application form, really. So you know what they'll be doing, qualifications that they'll get, any career progression, all that good stuff. Requirements and prospects. So obviously for certain levels and industry types, there may be entry level requirements. And yeah, this is quite quite standard to see. You know, for this particular level, A levels obviously are quite important to then progress. And then there's information about the employer, where they're located, information about the trainer as well. So you can then Google Kingston University and see what they're like. This is the apprenticeship standard. You can also have a look at the apprenticeship standard as well. You can Google that, and there's a website. I think it's called the Institute of Apprenticeship Standards or something. I'll put that in the chat box later, and then you can go and check that out as well. And then yeah, just apply now. I won't go through that because that'll be forever. But yeah, so that's what that looks like. You can also set up alerts as well, which is pretty handy. So you can punch in the types of opportunities that you're looking for, and then it'll do the hard work for you, and it will send emails and however you want it to communicate with you, and get the algorithm to work in your favour. So where else can you look? Like I said, finding an apprenticeship is not the only place to look. It's where a lot of them are, because it's the government website, but there are so many other places to look. So the company website is obviously a bit of a no-brainer. They may advertise on there. Social media, so a lot of companies have Facebooks, have Instagrams, have LinkedIn. Get clued up on LinkedIn, get your child clued up on LinkedIn, because that's going to be a fantastic resource. If you don't know anything about LinkedIn, it's basically a professional Facebook, really. It's basically just like your an advert for you in a professional capacity, and recruiters can talent scout off of that if you present yourself really well. You can be endorsed by your colleagues about things that you can do. You can also go and have a look at job adverts that are on there. Recruiters obviously use LinkedIn to advertise jobs too. And obviously friends and family, like it's a tried and tested method. You can have a look with your friends and family about most things, can't you? And particularly with apprenticeships and jobs, if you work in a company and you know that they're talking in the office about opportunities that are coming up, then you're the best person to showcase that information to your child. And also Vacancy Snapshot. That's another fantastic resource that you can use. They've got profiles of a lot of the top employers. You can see there they've got like Google, IBM, Lloyd's, Specsavers, and they've got like little profiles where you can have a little flick through the interactive profiles they've got for some of the top apprentice employers. So obviously, as a parent, the question will come up in your mind: how do I know if it's a good apprenticeship? I mean, it's also reassuring to know that all apprenticeships are monitored by a universal standard. So that body has changed recently as well, so that it's been looked after properly. So that's reassuring to know that they all follow proper monitoring. But there's a couple of little things that you can look out for. What are they being paid? And that's absolutely not to say that the low-paying apprenticeships are bad, but it is just encouraging as an indicator to see if an employer is happy to spend a little bit more money on somebody. So that's good. Have a look at the likely career progression opportunities, and that is a lot of the time mentioned on the vacancy. Is it a permanent or fixed term position? So employers can offer apprentices either a permanent or a fixed term apprenticeship. If they're offered a fixed term apprenticeship, research the employer and see if they support moving staff into permanent roles on completion. And like I said, which training provider are they using? You can check on Ofsted for the training provider if you are worried about that. And is the role varied? I'm sure Taya might chip in on that one. A lot of the apprentices from previous evenings that I've done this week have said that they've been moved around all over the place, and that they've been able to get their fingers in lots of pies, which has been fantastic. But again, just look at the job description and see how they're advertising it and how they're promoting it. And there are resources for parents. This amazing apprenticeships website, I will put it in the chat box when I've finished yabbering on, but write that down. It's fantastic. You and your child can have a little nosy at it. There's resources on there for parents, there's resources for children and students, and also staff. So have a look. The parent packs, they do the monthly ones. They're really, really good, so that they've got all the up-to-date information in them, and that they've been continuing those all the way through this pandemic, which has been great. There you go, amazing apprenticeships. I feel like I'm getting endorsed by them. I talk about them so much, but it's just really good. Just go and have a look. There's loads of activities and videos and stuff which are really good. Obviously, you guys have got the privilege of having Taya and Gillian to talk to you in a minute, but yeah, go and have a look. There's lots of resources and stuff on there. So yeah, just to round up my little bit, you can contact us via the Fire It Up handles. The National Apprenticeship Service also have phone numbers and stuff, so you can Google that if I whiz past this a bit too quickly for you to write it down. Now, I have been talking forever. I am going to pass you on to the fantastic Teya and Gillian so that Teya can explain her apprenticeship experience. Let me hand over to you, Teya. You there? Yeah, you there? Nice one.
Thank you, Brittany. Hi everyone, my name's Taya, and I'm a clinical trial support officer apprentice studying a level 3 business administration apprenticeship. Brittany, do you mind clicking this slide?
Oh yeah, sorry, yes.
Thank you. So I work at the Surgical Intervention Trials Unit as a part of Oxford University Apprenticeships. I work with the clinical trials team, assisting the trial managers with administrative related duties relating to the runnings of the clinical trials. This role involves ordering supplies for the teams, orchestrating meetings, writing meeting minutes, handling mail, entering trial data, research-based activities such as central monitoring, and assisting with the data management and site initiation visits during the pandemic. All of this I've been able to adapt as I now work from home, but for the first year of my apprenticeship, I was in the office. But my team has been here to support me whether I'm in the office or at home, ensuring that this adaptation went smoothly. I also volunteer as an apprenticeship ambassador. So I mentioned before that I complete a level 3 business admin apprenticeship, and this, as Brittany said before, is equivalent to A levels. It is the perfect stepping stone to go into study a higher level apprenticeship, so level 4 onwards, which is what I'm planning to do once I finish my current apprenticeship. It's also a brilliant stepping stone into the workplace for people to achieve their dream jobs. So in my team, I feel like I'm a truly valued member and I'm given lots of responsibility. As a member of the Surgical Intervention Trials Unit, my team have welcomed me so warmly and have given me lots of opportunities to develop my skills. They've listened to what I've enjoyed, and something that I enjoyed before was being creative and writing. And from this, I now manage the Situ blog page, which involves writing blog posts, designing the web page, delegating tasks to all members of the team, no matter their hierarchy, managing my own small team. And I'm consistently learning new skills through this. This includes soft interpersonal skills such as communicating with my team and stakeholders, and hard skills such as everyday computer work that all companies look for when applying for a job. So my working days are Monday to Thursday. Fridays I usually take as a study day. My job description links into my apprenticeship. So study days involve learning about the fundamentals of business administration and applying my practical skills to my written knowledge of business. This also enables me to learn in depth about the business that I work for, therefore giving me the power to make decisions, improve systems, and be recognised by my team. I also attend college 1 day a week for 10 weeks to learn all of this knowledge and meet other apprentices. We also have opportunities within the University of Oxford to network with other apprentices and staff members across the university. This helps to develop a support network, which will not only help me with my apprenticeship, but will also help me when I'm seeking new job opportunities in the future. So something that I made the decision to do was to drop out of sixth form after 4 months to do an apprenticeship. And it's the best decision I think that I've ever made. Whilst I was at sixth form, I didn't feel as if I was in the right place. I lacked confidence. I'd never raised my hand in class and felt as if I didn't belong. After leaving sixth form and being able to earn a living wage, as well as developing real life skills and still acquiring the same amount of knowledge that I would have at sixth form, felt incredible to me. My confidence increased immensely. I could communicate confidently with my team, customers, and other stakeholders without stuttering. I got given responsibility and was looked upon like an adult rather than a child. I felt as if I belonged. Apprenticeships are often seen as the second option, but I wish that this had been offered to me as my first, rather than sixth form. This is what my role as an apprenticeship ambassador enables me to do. I can share the knowledge that I have about apprenticeship amongst people like yourselves, schools, teachers, and other students, as this was something that I did not have whilst I was at school. I've really enjoyed being able to share my passion with you and others, and to inform you what a fantastic opportunity and option apprenticeships are. On the next slide is a photo with my team after I won Apprentice of the Year through University of Oxford. They're extremely supportive, and with every apprentice I have networked with throughout my career, they've said that their teams are just as supportive as mine have been to me. And I'll pass over to my mum, Gillian, who will share with you all of her positive thoughts about apprenticeships and her experiences of her views on my story.
Thank you, Taya. Well, yes, when Taya was at sixth form, I understood that she wasn't happy there. She wasn't sort of progressing probably as well as she should. So when she came to me and she said, obviously, I don't know what to do, I'm not sort of happy, I'm not getting on very well. I said, well, if you want to leave sixth form, then I think you need to look at the apprenticeship route, because I had sort of learned a bit about it, so I understood how the progress worked. And we did that, and Teya obviously got the apprenticeship with the University of Oxford, and it was definitely the best route she could have taken. She joined a great team, brilliant workforce with like-minded people. They helped to build her confidence. She's now, you know, she'll talk in front of people like we're doing now. Before, she would have like not been confident at all to do that. So that's fantastic. And she's joined so many other communities doing the ambassador with the apprenticeships and talking about that. But her team have encouraged her on every single aspect as well, further learning, and there's definitely lots of career opportunities there as well. Myself and her team have always been there to support her with her goals, which, you know, she's quite happy to come to us and ask our opinion. And as parents, we're sort of happy to help her along the way. It's also great, she can earn her own money while she's learning, which is, you know, a brilliant thing to do. Like say, you're not then sort of taking a load of debt with you. She can learn her real life skills. She's been able to do lots of things while she's been earning money as well. She paid for driving lessons. She's, you know, passed her test, been able to buy her own car. So you've got to consider all things like that. She's now saving up to hopefully buy a house in the future, which might take a few years, but yeah, we're on that path, so that's good. So, I mean, yeah, if you've got any sort of questions, because for me, I believe that, you know, apprenticeships are a better path. You can gain the life experience you need, and it's far more important than just sitting in the classroom. And I suppose being talked at, you've got that aspect of different sort of range of people that you can learn from. So yeah, I think it's brilliant.
Fantastic, thank you so much. That was really interesting. And I personally have never had a parent speaker before, so I think that was really, really valuable. So thank you so much. I am just going to come out of here and go back into the Zoom chat so that I can have a look at the chat box. Let me have a look. Oh, blimey. So yeah, so the first one is, yeah, it is being recorded, so that's that.
We've answered a lot of the ones, Brittany, that are in the chat.
Oh, well done.
Already.
Oh yeah, so you have.
So if I just come back with a few that have gone in since. So
yeah.
there's one for Taya. Taya, how many apprenticeships, Donna's asking, how many apprenticeships did you apply for? Whoops, it's disappeared, hold on, before you were successful?
I remember applying for 3 via Gov, which is the website that Brittany showed before. One of those being the University of Oxford apprenticeship, which I've got now. And then I applied for 1 or 2 others on Indeed. So overall, I applied for about 4 or 5, which I think is a good sort of option. It's not too many, so I didn't feel overwhelmed. but it's not too little, so that I heard back from 3 of them, and got an interview with 3 of them as well, which was positive, and then obviously landed the apprenticeship that I have now.
Brilliant, thank you. And what was the competition like when you applied? Do you know if it was, had they received someone's asked if they'd received an overwhelming number of applications?
So for my current job, I believe that they got about 20 applications or something like that, and then they interviewed 5 people, including myself. So for this one, I think that there is competition out there when it comes to applying for apprenticeships. And I think that that's going to keep growing over the years now that they're becoming more and more popular, and they've got so many more cool apprenticeships coming out, like the legal services one, teaching, dental nurse. So I think there will be competition out there, but it's all friendly competition and it's all really good experience.
Brilliant, thank you. Brittany, I think there's possibly one for you here. What if you don't achieve grade 4 in maths or English?
So if you start off at a lower apprenticeship, there may not be any entry requirements. Sometimes maths and English are also included in the opportunity. There's also the opportunity to retake exams as well. That's obviously quite a common way of tackling that. And the second that you become 18, actually, if you're not able to pick that up at any point before you turn 18, the second that you turn 18, that there are lots of free English and maths tutoring opportunities so that you can get those knocked on the head. There's also traineeships. I'm not sure if you can see my screen. I hope you can.
Yeah.
But there's also information out there on traineeships as well. Don't think there is anything on this one, but there definitely is on the Amazing Apprenticeships website. So traineeships are basically the stepping stone. So if you don't have the confidence that you feel that you need for that, or yeah, if you need a little bit more work on your English and maths and that sort of thing, traineeships are really nice because they're not as full on as an apprenticeship. They are shorter. They're like it says there, it says it can last from 6 weeks up to a year, but most of them last for 6 months. I believe that they've been extended to a year because of the coronavirus pandemic. And you know, it goes up. It's from 16 to 24 and 25 with people with EHC plans, and it's just basically like work experience with a little bit of education thrown in. So you don't get a qualification at the end necessarily, but it does just kind of bridge that gap if you're not quite ready. And so yeah, the English and maths will be tackled there as well. So if you can see this, that there's lots and lots of traineeship information on there as well, so you can go and have a look at that too.
Thank you, Brittany. Another question which Mel has kindly answered, saying if you're doing a degree level apprenticeships, do you need to apply for a degree and apply for the apprenticeship? And Mel's answered no, that's one. You apply for the apprenticeship which will have the degree attached to it, so you just need to make that one application, if anyone was just questioning that. Another question about having that minimum level grade of a level 4 at GCSE. Brittany's explained that in terms of looking at maybe those apprenticeships level 1 or level 2 apprenticeships initially, and you'll find that some of those do have those lower requirements in terms of GCSE results. Apprenticeships available in the sports industry. I'm aware of Ignite Sports locally. Mel, I know you're on the call. Mel also works in the Oxfordshire local enterprise partnership team, so I'm aware of Ignite Sports. Melly, I don't know if you're aware of any others locally as well for sports.
Hi Nikki, yeah, I've just popped a link in the chat. I was thinking the same. I think Ignite Sport are the best starting point in Oxfordshire for sports apprenticeships. They do PE teaching, sports coaching, and they'll certainly be a good starting point. They have regular open days as well. I think there's one coming up towards the end of February. So if you have a look in the chat, there's a website there you can have a look at.
Brilliant, thank you. Thanks, Mel. Someone's asked about how you find out about virtual work experience. I will put a link in. There are some resources on the Careers and Enterprise Company website which showcases some of the virtual work experience opportunities that are available nationally. But what we also do as a team is every week we send out picks of the week email to all of your schools. So all of your schools receive this from us every week, and that we include information about any local apprenticeships, work experience that we're aware of. So do contact your school, and they should be able to also support you with finding out what some of those opportunities are. And I think that's where we are at the moment. Oh, best time to apply. Is there a best time to apply? Brittany, do you have any thoughts on that one? Or Teya? Obviously you stopped sort of midway through sixth form. Do you have any thoughts about the best time to apply?
Yes, I started looking for apprenticeships at a really odd time, because after realising I didn't like sixth form after 4 months, it fell around Christmas time. So I see another question was that, did I continue during sixth form whilst looking for an apprenticeship? And yes, I continued at sixth form while simultaneously looking for an apprenticeship to do. So there wasn't that many around Christmas time, but within apprenticeships are all across the year, they're advertised, but mainly it's around the time that's sort of the beginning of the year to March, for when you're coming to like the end of your GCSEs. So then summertime, it sort of ties in around the school periods mainly. So like for school leavers, when they're finishing their GCSEs and things like that, they can then apply for an apprenticeship to then tie in with when they finish school and come to the end of their schooling time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant.
Yeah, nice one. And absolutely, they obviously apprentice employers, you know, they're not stupid, they're tapping into those particular times of the year, and rightly so, because that's when most people are going to be looking for the opportunities. But because they are available to adults as well, there will be some littage throughout the year. So again, it's just about keeping your eyes peeled. Sounds like a bit of an annoying answer, I know, but it is just a case of, if especially if there's a particular sector that you're interested in, a particular, you know, job role and stuff, it is just going to be about doing your research, because you know, there's so many different opportunities. You know, companies add opportunities all the time. So, you know, the best way is to have a look at there. Also, UCAS, you can actually apply for an apprenticeship via UCAS as well. So if you're at that age, kind of A-level age, and you're looking at UCAS have also got a degree apprenticeships thing on their site too. I put in the chat there about inclusive apprenticeships as well. If there's any special educational needs or anything, worries about that. So there's a thing about an organisation that offers inclusive apprenticeships. I'm not entirely sure if they're particularly local, but I think sometimes if there's a great opportunity for an industry that's a little bit niche that needs that extra support, it's just always worth knowing about. And then there's also this other one, which is called Employing an Apprentice. There's information on there. I've just pressed enter on that. And also it's also good to know that if you're a parent and you're in a company where you might be able to speak to your employer, or if you're in a position where you can offer an apprenticeship, then great, you know, keep the opportunities flowing. So yeah, if you're lucky enough to have the authority at your employer, ask the question.
Brilliant, thank you, Brittany. Someone's asked, adverts mentioning qualifications as A-levels or equivalent. Is BTech equivalent? Yes, it is. And I think also you'll find that UCAS as well, very, if you're going that route, BTechs are very well recognised with regards to that as well. I'm just having a look at some of these other things. Best time to apply. Do you need to have finished your A-levels to apply, Brittany? Do you need to have? My understanding is, you know, you apply during the year, and obviously you complete your A-levels with a start date of after that. So you don't need to have completed your A-levels at the application process.
Absolutely,
while you're
yeah.
application process.
And that's the same with GCSEs as well. So obviously, if you're applying for one straight after you leave school, you can obviously apply for that before you turn 16, you know, preemptively, so that you've got the opportunity ready to hit the ground running when you finish school. So yeah, and some employers are happy with expected grades as well. You know, you don't necessarily have to know the answers to everything like that straight away. Employers obviously understand the drill with all of that stuff. So yeah, you can definitely apply before you've that qualification.
Brilliant, thank you. Mel, are there any other questions you've seen come in? I've been trying to keep an eye on them, but I know you were looking as well.
There was one question, Nikki, I'm not sure if that's been addressed, is do they need national insurance numbers to apply for apprenticeships?
That is a good question, and I haven't been asked that question before. I imagine you get a national insurance number when you're 16. Is that still correct? So you should have a national insurance number anyway, I imagine. Because yes, because you will be on the payroll. You will be an employee of that business. So yes, I imagine that would be necessary. Yeah, anyone else got any ideas about that one? Yeah, there you go. You get a national insurance number at 16. Thank you very much, Rachel Hampshire. So yeah, that answers that question. It's important. Oh, some of year 11s aren't 16 yet, absolutely. But they will be. They won't be starting the apprenticeship until they're 16. 16 is the minimum. You have to be 16 to actually start the apprenticeship because it is a job. And obviously that's the legal requirement. So yeah, you can apply as you're coming up to 16. Again, the employers are switched on. They know the drill. So yeah, you can start applying before you're 16.
Somebody's also asked Nikki whether we can circulate a list of the links that have been shared in the chat, and we can do that in a follow-up email, can't we, to the attendees?
Sorry, I lost my screen. I couldn't turn my mute off then. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. We can send those links out afterwards, no problems, with the recorded session as well. If you wanted to rewatch it or share it wider as well, please do feel free to do that. What I'll also do is I'll share the link in there for some other people have asked about the virtual work experiences, so we'll share the link in that as well and get that out to everybody. I think that's everything. I think, yeah, brilliant. Well, thank you very, very much, Taya and Gillian, for your input on that. Really helpful hearing both of your perspectives on it. And yeah, thank you very much, Brittany, as well, for running that session for us. It was really informative. No, not at all. Thank you for putting it on. It's just about getting these myths out of the way, isn't it? And as long as everybody knows the drill, there's fantastic opportunities available to go grab. So yeah, no, thank you very much for putting it on. Brilliant. No, thank you. And thank you everyone for attending, and I hope you have a lovely evening. Thanks very much, guys. Bye-bye. Take care. Bye. Brittany, do you want to stay on? Yeah. Mel, if you're still recording.